Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in Vermont. I know, starting to become a theme, isn't it? It's almost like I'm starting to enjoy the Vermont a little bit. But it's not just that. I played a lot of ships tonight and I actually got quite a few videos ready for you guys. So I hope you guys are ready. Before we get started though, if you guys enjoy what I do, punch that like button for me. And if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, maybe consider subscribing. I can't speak. I apologize. Because it helps us out a lot. You're already here. You probably enjoy what we do. So why not? It's completely free. Anyway, we're on Riposte and we're in the Vermont. And this ship probably wants to be around the middle of the map wherever possible. We talked about this the other day. Why? Because it gives you more options, right? You got more people to shoot at. Otherwise, we're extremely slow. When you do finally commit to a side, you're stuck with it, right? You don't have a choice. You're pretty much stuck when you commit to a side with the Vermont. So if everybody potatoes around you, you can find yourself on the receiving end of being the only thing anybody can see. Now, Zarky mentioned the other day that Kondo is still like his favorite sort of build, which is fine. Having extra concealment on a battleship, or any ship for that matter, is never going to be a bad thing, because it allows you to dictate the engagements. However, you can do just fine with a regular old Vermont. Like, you don't need a crazy amount of concealment, especially with the spotting changes. However, what we're going to try to do here is try to pay attention to where everybody's at. Right? We want to make a mental note of where everybody's at. Now, right off the bat, we see a Shima. He appears to be about to, like, slow down and beach himself on the island. Our destroyer's there. I take the shot. Unfortunately, we're going to miss every one of these shells, but you miss all the shots you don't take. I don't mind taking a shot at a destroyer early, because if you can take them out, it's huge, right? Didn't quite happen, but our destroyer is going to manage to find himself running into torpedoes, which, again, it's always the people that have the sonar. Like, Z-52 has sonar. Long-range sonar. And yet he still manages to run right into the torpedoes. And now he's dead because Schroeder's pushing in. I don't understand it. However, we've got a beautiful look at a broadside Schroeder. We're going to go ahead and use our spotter plane to help make it as accurate as possible. We get a decent salvo. It's not a great salvo, honestly. I think he started turning in just in time to avoid getting yeeted, because we can absolutely yeet him, but it doesn't really matter. Even with our terrible, terrible RNG sometimes, this Schroeder has no chance. There's nothing that he can do to me. He's got secondaries, yeah, they're dangerous, but he's bow into me, so he's got very few secondaries on me. If he goes broadside, I just send him home even faster. So he tries to stay bow tanking me at an angle. I'm gonna overmatch him, so I just go straight through his bow and punch straight through for over 20,000 damage. This is why I say that he literally can't do anything to me. A Schroeder's worst nightmare is a accurate battleship. Like, that there's nothing that the Schroeder can do, especially at these ranges. Cruisers, destroyers, Schroeder's fantastic. Against battleships, it's a bit of a one-sided fight, and it's not going in Schroeder's favor. But as you can see, he's trying to bow tank us here. He turns and actually kind of almost gets me to screw up here, but we hold our fire just long enough to wait for his turn, and then we're going to get the front guns involved and again just shoot straight through his bow. There's nothing he can do. And we actually get the kill with the secondaries, funny enough. A little bit of karma. But that's when I look up and see a Yama having my broadside, and I see the shells. Nothing I can do about it. I just got to hope that they miss. And that's about the last bad salvo that Yama's going to get for the entire game. But in true Spartan fashion, I'm going to go ahead and reach out and touch this man. You knock on my door, I answer. That's how this works. Alright? You don't want to be shot, don't shoot me first. Okay? That's how this works. But we're going to go ahead and punch him in the face. And that's probably about the last of the good RNG that I'm going to get on that Yamato. It's funny how that works. He's one bad salvo, and then my one good salvo. It just happened at the same time. But Brisbane, on the other hand, is going to push in, and I know he's a radar, so we got to try to get rid of him. That'll free up our Sumner to do Sumner things, including helping us with the battleship. So, I'm patient. I don't want to fire the guns. Again, I have enough concealment that I get to dictate the engagement here. We have spotting. They don't. I put the shot off to the left, anticipating that the Brisbane would turn out, but he doesn't. He turns in, and all those shells end up missing except for one. Now, you can never underestimate a Vermont. Even if it looks like you're just going to get hit in the superstructure by a Vermont, the amount of times a Vermont will citadel you through your deck is kind of stupid. I ain't gonna lie. I've had more citadels with plunging fire in Vermont than any other battleship that I've ever played. That's ridiculous. But Brisbane starts to turn out. I don't end up leading him enough here, unfortunately. I was expecting him to finish the turn. He doesn't. We're going to end up missing all those shells. He's trying to set us on fire. Meanwhile, Mr. Accuracy himself over here in the Yamato is going to start landing every shell. And I do mean that. Like, literally every shell that he fires is going to be just nasty. Must be nice. My Yamato never does that. But you'll notice that I don't really want to continue to engage here because I'm going to be lit up and they're going to set me back on fire. Yamato's going to get his accuracy. However, Brisbane turns and commits to a turn, and I thought, maybe if I just lead it just enough, I'll catch him off guard. And unfortunately for him, I did. So finally getting rid of the HE spamming threat. No more radar available. But unfortunately, our Schlieffen has decided to YOLO into the middle of the cap with everybody surrounding him and has put himself in the perfect position to get countered, which is going to lead to his swift demise. Now, I saw the shells coming from the Yamato, but I was hoping he'd miss. He wasn't going to miss. Like I said, he's not going to get any bad salvos for the rest of the game. I don't know what this man's build is, but somehow he's got God tier RNG. But then again, so do I against the GK. GK's broadside. I mean, this GK is... Whatever's going on between that Yamato and me is the same thing going on between my Vermont and that GK. Because this GK is about to get the worst RNG he's ever seen against him. My Vermont is going to land like darn near every shell every time I shoot at that guy for the rest of the match. It's crazy. But we're going to go ahead, aim. I want to hit towards the back of the ship. He's kiting away. We know we can go through the rear cheek if we get a good look. Unfortunately, didn't get the look we were looking for, and he just, like I said, every shell, man. Every shell. It's very rare that I turn to start kiting. Like, I know that the Vermont takes forever to make a turn, right? So, like, the last thing I want to do is turn full broadside to a guy who has had the God tier RNG for the entire time that we've been shooting each other. But here, we get a good look at his superstructure. He gets another good look at me. I'm praying to God he doesn't. And I'm wrong. And again, I don't want to make that turn, but I didn't have a choice. And the ship takes so freaking long to turn that it's awful. But the reason I made that turn, and the reason that I had to make that turn, is because he's slowing down, and I need to get some distance between me and him. If I can go dark, I get to dictate the engagement. This is what we were talking about earlier. So, 13.8 kilometer detection. I don't have to fire my guns until I want to, which means that I can be a lot more selective. Our team has map control, the team has cap control, and we are going to win this match as long as we don't throw. So, when we see people, we don't always necessarily want to fire the guns. However, sometimes it's very, very difficult to go without firing the guns. As much as I'm thinking about it right now, I'm like, that's a lot of hit points right there. I'm at 158,000. And this is where the video side of things come in. I'm like, all right, you know what? They're in the cap. I can get some defense ribbons as well. I've got that Yamato still sitting there just waiting to shoot me. So we've got to be selective here. But I want to also try to get that 200K, right? Like, that's the problem. As a content creator, the first thing that comes to mind is the video, right? Like, yes, winning the game is important. But if I can manage to go for the curve first here and avoid getting shot back, that would be ideal. And we get a beautiful salvo into the superstructure of the curve first. Yamato fires his guns at us. We are already turning away as hard as we can possibly turn. And bonk. So that's what it's like to be hit for just enough to get away. Right? So we have 273,000, or 273 damage, sorry. Or 273 hit points. Good lord. Words are difficult. But we're going to try to put the shells through the back door. And we do get a beautiful shot into the back door of the Yamato. Now, the Elbing is coming out here to spot us, which is not ideal. We managed to not get hit by the GK, thankfully. Our destroyer is right here in a perfect place to counter the Elbing, but Elbing keeps disappearing because our destroyer keeps using the smoke. And we get a shot out just to try to make sure that we can get rid of him. And Elbing manages to go down before our shell gets there. However, that does light us up. And that means that we've got shells incoming, right? We know that it's going to happen. Just got to be smart here. Hoping that they miss. And that's when I realized that nobody shot at me, surprisingly. So either they don't have the range or they've got better looking targets. And here I am with 273 hit points and a dream. And I'm still a threat. Believe it or not. You can never discount a battleship with 12, 18-inch guns. I'm sorry. You got to make sure that they finish them off. Like, if you get a chance, you got to finish off that battleship. Because otherwise, I'm still a problem, man. If I got 1 hit point or if I got 90,000 hit points, it doesn't matter. I'm still just as nasty. So you got to be careful. But that was a fun game. I thought you guys would like, for once, in true Spartan fashion, I was left with just enough to get away. Top of the leaderboard, 2,845 XP. Counter rotating. Unfortunately, the guys that were over here, Sumner lived to tell the tale, and the Schlieffen not so much. Des Moines not so much either. So let me know down in the comments below if you guys are enjoying, and if you like what I'm doing. Punch the like button. Leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.